So we can see the novelty from the last frame of the video. It is not official yet, but we're trying to communicate this and switch gears so that we can show a change compared with the past. So if you haven't noticed, it said Cavalli, not only Roberto Cavalli. It is not official yet, but I just noticed that there was this novelty. So I can't give you numbers now because after what Mr. Bizzarri said, well, we can say you don't have 100 years of history, but 50s, only 50s, and we can do a lot. So you have another 50 years to get where they got. So if we want to go back to the mention of Tom Ford when he entered Gucci in the 90s, Gucci was completely different. So it took 30 years to Gucci to go in that direction. So you have time still. I think when they did this fantastic change, they did great. I think Cavalli in 2007 reached around 300 millions, including licenses. So Cavalli has a very strong brand awareness, and for our generation, this is maybe comparable with Gucci's, Dolce & Gabbana, Versace's heritage. I think numbers haven't never been as big as those of the other players. So let's now look at today. You are the CEO of the company. I am the Director General since September of last year, so a little over a year. Let's have a look at the history of Cavalli in the past years. How did you arrive here, and how were you appointed? 3 years ago, I was sitting here, and it was period of negotiation to acquire a Cavalli from Philip Plein. So I had the chance to have a more thorough look at what was the history of Cavalli and their numbers in the past 6 to 10 years. So I was quite prepared, and what we've seen in 2018, so pandemics or not, was what we thought Cavalli could reach in 2019, 2020. So on one hand, Cavalli could reorganize the company during the pandemic. We could change some dynamics. We could simplify the structure and make a change in the management as well, and to start again, because it is actually a true restart. I am lucky enough to be able to work with Fausto Puglisi, who embodies the DNA of the brand. You said you didn't choose him. I didn't. It was chosen by the new fund, the new owners. What's the name of the owner? Daiko. Damac, also known as Damac. It is a big Dubai real estate group headed by Dr. Sashvani. So it wasn't chosen by me, but they made the right choice because it embodies the historic DNA of the brand, but with attention towards the future, to be able to extend our markets and include different customers. So on the one hand, the pandemic gave you more time to reorganize. Well, it wasn't that positive, but we can say it gave us the excuse to reset. What was more negative? What was missing? What did you work on more? I do not have the knowledge to assess the work of those who came before me, but the managers who came before me were very capable, but as far as I gathered, they didn't have the support of the investors they had back then. They were trying to sell the group. They've been trying for a while. Of course, you couldn't do a great job if you knew that the owner is about to give up. So we can do an excellent job now because we are covered and we are robust. We can think about the future, about new openings. We will resume our work in the US. We will reopen the first US boutique in Bar Harbor, Miami, and then more will follow. You mentioned you closed your office in Florence, so you did quite a contrary. So the office in Florence was a bit run down. It had a printing setting until 2012, but it didn't make sense to keep it anymore. It was too big, so we had to focus our strength on where the business is, so Milan. And so we had to reorganize everything. We had to be all close to one another. So it is now a Milan-based brand. It doesn't have a heritage. Well, we are an international brand. You know, business is not done in Milan. So is often you often work from home. We have women and men working in Cavalli from all over the world. So we are an international brand. Of course, we have a strong connection with Dubai. You can have a look at what we're doing on the Cavalli Tower in a prime location in Dubai. So there is a strong connection with the Middle East. So let's look at the numbers. Turnovers for 2019, 46 million. 2020 was 46 million. It was the worst year, I think, for all companies. What are your forecasts for next year? I think we will close around 60 million. We hope we can reach 80 and break even next year. What is the potential for this type of brand? It all depends on the market, and the item category will evolve. So if we are still just a brand for fashion and shoes, I think in 4 to 5 years we can go back to reach 180 to 2,000 millions, excluding royalties. If we go back to accessories, then we will expand our limits, because when you want to grow, you grow with bags and this type of products. Cavalli has historically been a ready-to-wear brand. And we've also had shoes. So in order to move on to the next step, we need to be, well, not lucky, I would say, but we need to have the direction to go where Cavalli has never gone before. You say that historically, Cavalli had a strong development of licenses. What is your view on this? What are you thinking of doing? Will you close some, open others? It depends. Of course, there are different types of licenses. So there are licenses that are directly connected with the world of fashion, which we are closing and bringing home. Because it is difficult nowadays to communicate a brand. So I think it is complex to communicate it through different brands. So to explain that this trousers has the same name, the same DNA, is half the price of the first line. I think it is quite an old-fashioned way of thinking. It is different if we look at licenses for home. They need to be developed. Absolutely, we have to help them grow and fuel them. Eyewear, cosmetics, perfumes, of course, this takes a different direction. They are extremely important in our line of business. So, what are the potentials of the brand? As Mr. Bizzarri was mentioning, it is difficult to forecast at 5 years. But looking at the history of the brand, at the potential we've already expressed in the past, I think I can comfortably say that one of our goals in 4 to 5 years is to reach 180 millions is possible for the brand. So I think this is a reachable goal. Do you think the investor is here to say it is less known initially? What is the profile of your investor? What do you think they can decide about the future? Well, they're providing us with great support in terms of opening new boutiques. All the projects we have are, of course, discussed and are accepted with the willingness to develop them. We have this project for 600 million in Dubai. It is our local hotspot in a prime location in front of the Palm in Dubai. So this is an asset that even the biggest brands don't have. We can say that the owners are 100% backing the brand. They are trying to do everything they can so that Cavalli can return to be what it used to. Maybe they will buy other brands. I think it is a possibility. I think they are considering that. Because when you can create platforms of brands, you can have a great synergy. Of course, it is obvious in terms of production, in terms of management, that are crucial in order to create interesting margins. I would say the most positive thing about this is that a positive Italian brand such as Cavalli, which ran the risk of disappearing, found an investor that backsaid something that didn't happen with Ferré. So some brands didn't have the same luck. So I'm very happy about that. We want to make sure the brand stays Italian, and then the work of the creative director is equally important. I think it will bring about fantastic results. Thank you very much, Ennio, and best of luck. Can we shake hands? Absolutely. Congratulations once again.